Hi everyone, and I welcome you all to Applied Thermodynamics video class. My name is Revana K. I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Government Engineering College, Chamarajanagar. During this semester, I am handling the subject Applied Thermodynamics with the subject code 18ME42 as per PTO curriculum. I think it is fair to recapitulate the things what you studied in the previous semester, that is in basic thermodynamics, because applied thermodynamics is a advanced and continuation of basic thermodynamics. In basic thermodynamics, we came to know what exactly a thermodynamics deals and how it is coined as a subject in the field of engineering and science. Apart from that, we came to know the various approaches are used to study the subject. In addition to that, we came to the several terminology used in the subject and their definition in thermodynamic context and their corresponding mathematical equation for various processes in thermodynamics. And also, by common experience and observation, there is few laws are proposed on thermodynamics. That is, first law of thermodynamics. It gives an idea of internal energy. You know that any thermodynamic process, the heat transfer is equal to the sum of internal energy and the work done. The internal energy may be anything. It is include the several energy. It is potential energy, kinetic energy, and other energies. The totally we call it as an internal energy. So this law is not gives any information about the feasibility of the process and the direction, so that the another law which is came to existence, that is the second law of thermodynamics, that gives an idea about the quality and quantity of the energy in several thermodynamics process by introducing new term, that is an entropy. The third law says that the entropy remains constant at an absolute temperature. So by making use of all this, we can possible to understand the various devices, and also we can possible to improve the existing devices. In addition to this, there is another law, that is zeroth law, we came to know by a basic thermodynamics, which is give an idea about thermal equilibrium and the temperaturing measurement techniques. By making use of all this information and concept and knowledge, we are going to study the various devices we can use to benefit of humankind. When you came to the subject applied thermodynamics, as usual, the subject is divided into 5 separate modules, each module having the separate contents. When you came to the module number 1, it is having air standard cycle and also IC engine fundamentals. So in the present course, the subject, we have some objectives, the purpose of study. When you came to the objective of the course or the particular module, the objectives are as follows. The main objectives of this module or the subject is as follows. Number 1, to understand the application of the first and second law of thermodynamics and applying the same for various processes and the cycles. To understand the fundamentals of internal combustion engine construction and their working principle, and also we can possible to compare the actual fuel air cycles and also air standard cycle performances. The next point is to study combustion in SI engine and CI engines and controlling factor in order to extract the maximum power, because the proper combustion always improve the performance of any given engine. So that is a art, or it is a method in which we can combustion is happen thoroughly, we can expect more output so that the efficiency automatically increases to avoid other uh, mechanical problems. In addition to this, there is another objective of this module to know the concept of testing. So you know that periodically we want to test the engine related to the performance. It is a various method we can use to conduct a test on to study the performance of IC engine to find out individual parameters like indicated power, brake power and frictional power that directly influence on efficiency of the given cycle. When you came to the subject, thermodynamic important application is to analysis of the cycle in which the energy is absorbed as a heat and continuously converted into mechanical work. A thermodynamic analysis of heat engine cycle give valuable information regarding to the design of new kinds of cycle and also improving, refining the existing cycle. The classification of cycle. The purpose of thermodynamic cycle is either to produce power or produce refrigeration. These are the two different cycle normally we can see in thermodynamics. Okay. Refrigeration is nothing but heat pump. Therefore, the cycle is broadly classified as follows based on their power. The number one is heat engine and power cycle. Another one is refrigeration. It's also called heat pump cycle. Any thermodynamic cycle is essentially a closed cycle in which the working substance undergo a series of processes and it is always bring back to the initial state. However, some of the power cycles not operating on closed cycle that we call it as open cycle. It means that the working substance is taken into the unit or into the cycle from the atmosphere. After usage, it is going to expelled out to the atmosphere through a different and series of process at the other end. The following are the common examples we can see for open cycle, that is petrol or gasoline and diesel engine, in which air and fuel is taken into the engine from the fuel tank. When you come to a diesel engine, air alone we are taking into the engine cylinder, okay, and the product of combustion are exhausted into the atmosphere at the outlet manifold. There is another device or machine we can see, the steam locomotives, in which water is the working substance. It is taken from the water tank into the boiler and steam is exhausted into the atmosphere after proper mechanical work output. Essentially, each devices do not form a cycle. However, they can be analyzed adding some imaginary process to bring the state of working substance, thus completes a cycle. We can note that the terms closed cycle and open cycle means used here, it not means of a closed system cycle or open system cycle. In fact, the process both in closed and open cycle could be either be a closed or a open system process. The different types of fluid or the working substance are employed in the power plant. The nature of the working fluid can be classified into, based on the nature of the working fluid, we can classify it into two groups, that is the vapor and gases. These are the two different working substance it is involved in the power plant cycle. The power cycles are according to classified into two groups based on the working substance or the changes of phase. In one vapor power cycle in which the working fluid undergo phase change, means you know that the water is available in three different phases, from liquid to gas, a gas to ice, like that. Okay, depend on, we can convert directly gas into a liquid into a gas, or a solid to a liquid to a gas, or directly like gas to a solid. So in a cyclic process, we are all studied during what you call uh, in basic thermodynamics. So some working fluid does not going to change their phase throughout the cycle. It remains same from beginning to the end. Such a cycle we call it as a gas power cycle. The best example for gas power cycle or air standard cycle. The air is a working substance in the cycle we use. The thermodynamic analysis of power cycle, our main interest, it lies to estimating energy conversion efficiency, that is also called a thermal efficiency. The thermal efficiency of heat engine is defined as the ratio of output delivered by the engine to the energy absorbed by the same engine or cycle. Analysis of cycle. The air standard cycle, air is considered as a working medium or the working substance. The analysis is carried out with the following assumptions. The number one, the working substance consists of fixed mass, means it is a closed chamber, so that the mass remains constant throughout the cycle and it is behaves as a perfect gas. The closed system is considered with undergoes a cyclic process, therefore there is no intake and exhaust process, means there is no mass interaction between the system and the surroundings. The combustion process is replaced by equivalent heat addition process. There is no, when you came to ideal cycle, air standard cycle, there is no combustion involved. So simply whatever the heat we are expected to add, simply bringing a high thermal reservoir in contact with the engine, so that it will be directly passing from a adiabatic dithermic wall. Thus, there is no change in chemical equilibrium. There is a combustion. There is a combustion means definitely there is a chemical interaction or the chemical reaction that bring to a non-equilibrium condition by chemical reaction of the working fluid and the fuel what we are going to use. But it is all are not considered while studying air standard cycle. There is no exhaust process, so there is no outlet or there is no exhaust manifold normally used in a different cycle like diesel and Otto cycle. This is replaced by equivalent heat rejection process. I mean, you bring the engines in contact with a diathermic wall through a low temperature reservoir, so that we can taken out the heat from the cycle. In air standard cycle, compression and expansion process are considered to be a reversible and adiabatic process. I hope you know what is a reversible process. Physically, practically it is impossible, but for our convenience, we consider all the work done process will be called as a reversible adiabatic process, so that it makes us to analyze comfortably with the best result. The specific heat Cp, specific heat at a constant pressure at a constant volume do not vary with temperature, but in practice it is not so. Available of work of cycle. The main function of any heat engine cycle is to receive heat from a source that we call it as a hot body. Okay, so and continuously transfer into required work. Okay, so effective work, that is the mechanical energy. Okay, the amount of heat which is transferred into mechanical energy is known as available energy or available heat or available work. So consider there is an heat engine. It is going to receive energy, that is Q, from a source that we at a temperature T1 with a quantity of Q1, and it is part of that energy is going to convert it into available work, okay, that is available energy, that is Q, the heat, that is equal to W net, that is calculated by the amount of heat rejected to the surrounding and what we supply to the given engine. So the remaining part of energy as a heat which will be uh, rejecting to a low temperature reservoir, we call it as sink at a temperature T2. So here we can see Q is the available energy for doing work per cycle in heat units. Q1 is the heat received during the each cycle from the hot body or hot reservoir. So the Q2 is the amount of heat rejecting during the each cycle to the cold body or sink in terms of heat unit. Then the available heat for performing work, we call it as Q, that is equal to Q1 minus Q2 in heat units. Okay, if W net, the W is the net work done during the cycle in terms of heat unit. Okay, W is equal to heat available to perform work, that is equal to Q1 minus Q2 in heat units. Okay, efficiency of the cycle. It is very common to find out the efficiency of the any kind of cycle, whether it may be auto, diesel or any other thermal cycles. Okay, so it makes us to understand the performance of the cycle or engine. The thermal efficiency of heat engine cycle is defined as the ratio of available energy, that heat available to perform a work, to the heat received during the cycle from the hot body. It is usually denoted by a letter eta. So that is the eta. Okay. So that is equal to, mathematically we can put it in the form of eta is equal to heat equivalent of the net work done per cycle, or W net, divided by the amount of heat supplied per cycle. So it is further eta is equal to Q by Q1. Q is the available energy in the form of heat and also heat supplied, that is Q1. That Q available energy is given by Q1 minus Q2. It is the difference between supplied and heat rejected divided by again the same heat supplied. It is simply W net by heat supplied. Here is standard efficiency of the cycle. So in order to compare thermal efficiency of the practical or actual internal combustion engine cycle, the engineer needs some standard cycles that take it as a yardstick to compare the actual and ideal cycles. The yardstick used to theoretical thermal efficiency of the engine working of an ideal cycle. Using air is a working fluid, so throughout the cycle the air alone working as a working substance, and heat receives and rejected through a dithermic valve to the corresponding neighboring heat reservoir. The theoretical actual thermal efficiency of the ideal cycle is known as air standard efficiency. So throughout the subject we are talking about theoretical or ideal cycle efficiency. So that is, we call it as a air standard efficiency. Either you go Otto cycle or diesel cycle, including Carnot cycle, we call it as a air standard, because throughout the cycle the considered to be air is a working substance, since it is worked out on the basis of working fluid being throughout the cycle. That is, effect of calorific value of fuel used eliminated. So if you go calorific value, definitely it required to find out the heat supplied. The Q is very essential. So here we are ignoring the calorific value, so that it is simple to analyze the given cycle. The heat is supplied by bringing hot body in contact with the end of the cylinder. You know that they already explained that it was simply, instead of combustion, we simply bringing the contact with the help of dithermic valve, both high temperature reservoir and low temperature reservoir, so that we can get the expected processes. Ideal heat engine cycle. The ideal engine cycle are made up of as follows, based on the processes of heat addition and heat rejection. The number one, heat is taken in to the system or the cycle, it also rejected at a constant temperature. So that we all know that what is going to happen in a isothermal compressions or expansion. Simply an isothermal process is a what you call a quasi-static process, what we discussed in the previous semester. And also you know that the what exactly a isothermal process, how it could be a process, how difficult to arrive it. It is taken in and rejected at a constant pressure. That is, we call it as a isobaric process. So you all know that. So some processes are isobaric and some processes are isothermal process. So depending on our requirement, we prepare the process in terms of isobaric and isothermal. There is another process we studied in the previous semester, that is constant volume process, in which either it is going to in or reject in the cycle at a constant volume processes. So it is also called isochoric process. There is another important process we studied in the previous semester, that is the compression expansion. That is an adiabatic process. It is partially we can say it is an isentropic process. Here the entropy remains constant. We will discuss later what exactly an isentropic process later. Only 5 principal ideal heat engine cycle we can see, and we can describe here as follows. Number 1, at a constant temperature cycle. So here isothermal process you all know and you are very familiar how isothermal going to happen. So when changing state only, you know that ideal gas equation, the PV by T is equal to constant. Here temperature remains constant. So in isothermal process, the remaining term PV, that it could be a constant, or P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So here it is taken in and rejected at a constant temperature. The compression and expansion being a frictionless, that is mean isentropic process, it is also called a reversible adiabatic process. This cycle is known as Carnot cycle. So you all very familiar, and we discussed very lot in the previous semester, that is the Carnot cycle. So Carnot cycle is an ideal and also it is a hypothetical cycle. We cannot bring to adopt a practical usage because there is a several difficulties to make it to use in practice. We will discuss later on, okay, what exactly a Carnot cycle. Carnot cycle, actually it is the cycle was brought out in 1824 by the French engineer, that is name called by Sadi Carnot. Although it has a limitation, this, as a heat engine has ever been constructed to use it. So far the engine is not constructed. He is saying that the Carnot is saying that okay, there is no engine give efficiency higher than our Carnot cycle. He is challenged, and it is true also. This cycle theoretically permit conversion of maximum quantity of heat energy into mechanical energy. If you go so that, okay, so definitely we can expect even 100%. Okay, so that's why it is very difficult to construct in practice, because it is a reversible process. You know that all reversible processes are quasi-static process. Quasi-static process, you know that it is a slow process, so that by using or adapting this Carnot cycle, we can expect the moment or the speed lesser than a pedestrian. So that is a last of stories about a Carnot cycle we learned in the previous semester. So when you came to a theoretical study of Carnot cycle, in other words, it gives the maximum efficiency. You know that already explained that, because it is a very reversible process. All reversible process all giving highest efficiency that is possible to obtain engine. Hence, it is a useful life. It is simply because of it is not possible to use in practice, because of there are a lot of challenges. We can use to a comparison yardstick to understand other heat engine cycle. It does under condition the maximum efficiency that they would like to approach. Because of this, a reversible process, we can expect a highest percentage of efficiency. That will be discussed later. How it could be give highest efficiency. And also we discussed in the earlier semester, that is in basic thermodynamics, how it is going to be a highest efficient cycle. So an engine operating on this ideal cycle would require a cylinder. When you came to a comparison, or when you came to practice, what really required to run as a cycle, the Carnot cycle? Perfectly a non-conducting material, a cylinder head that will be conducting heat. I mean, that is adiabatic wall will be required. There is a what do you call dithermic wall will be required to bring the cycle execution. A cylinder head that will be conduct it perfectly, that we call it as what you call dithermic wall. And there are other there is non-conducting material, we call it as an adiabatic wall. And there are other elements that can be brought into contact with the conducting cylinder head AB as shown in figure. So this is your cylinder with having a facility of both adiabatic and also dithermic wall. Based on the process, we can put in contact with this portion to supply and reject heat in and out from the cylinder. So there are four processes we can say in a Carnot cycle, that is two isothermal reversible process and also two adiabatic reversible process. So the first one, A to B, the process is called it as an isothermal process. It means the temperature remains constant. That is A to B we can see. Okay. So that is A to B is an isothermal process. Another B to C is an adiabatic process. You know that what is adiabatic process. Here the PV to the power of gamma is equal to constant. That is the temperature remains constant. So these are the, or simply we call it as a PV is equal to constant. So apart from that, there is a isothermal compression we can see in a process C to D, again D to A, dA. By adiabatic process, the cycle going to complete. Okay, these are the various property changes we can see by the Carnot cycle. So when it came to explanation of that, since no heat transfer, we completely going to explain so how it is going to happen in a Carnot cycle, the various processes. Since no transfer of heat occur during the adiabatic operations, you know that. So adiabatic means there is no heat interaction because it is completely covered by a insulator or adiabatic wall. Then by the law of conservation of energy, the difference between heat received and heat rejected must be equal to the net work done. Now for any non-flow thermodynamic process, heat added. So there are two different way we can bring the net work output or work done or net work. Okay, by individually by taking all work separately from the process 1 to 2, 2 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and again 4 to 1. But it is very simple. You know that W net is equal to what in the Q1 minus Q2. There is only two heat addition, heat interaction will be, we can see that is isothermal compression, isothermal expansion. So when it came to heat addition, okay, that is a process, okay. So that is a heat addition in which there is a heat addition in a isothermal. When you came to PV diagram, okay. So that is a isothermal process, okay. When in PS diagram, that is will be like that. That is the S entropy, that is equal to T temperature, that is P, that is V. Okay, that will be first one. There is a heat addition. There is a adiabatic process. Again there is no heat interaction. Again it is a isothermal compressions. Okay, so again we can see after once it is reached, we can see another adiabatic process. By the way, it is going to complete. That is the actual the cycle which is proposed by Carnot. So heat added, it is the Q here, it is going to a heat addition, that is Q in, okay, heat added, that is equal to work done. So here the internal energy is 0. By first law of thermodynamics says that heat added is equal to the sum of internal energy and work done. Internal energy remains 0 because internal energy is a function of temperature, so that heat is an isothermal process, so that there is no temperature changes, so that the internal energy remains same. Since during isothermal expansion process A to B, the temperature does not change, neither will be an internal energy change. That we all know that, and we studied in the previous semester. Heat added or supplied during the operation, that is A to B. When you say that is A, that is B, that is C, that is D. Heat is added, so heat is rejected, that we call it as out. Okay, the difference gives the W net. There is another way we can find out the W net. So that is W net is equal to, that is W122 plus W12223, again so on. So that is the any way we can arrive the same answer. Okay, but I think it is very easy because the two process we consider here, that is Q1, Q in and Q2, that is enough to find out the efficiency of the cycle. So you know that, and we derived any isothermal process, we know that that is PV ln of, that is the final volume divided by initial, that is Fi. That we know that by, and in work done, work done equation, and we derived in the previous semester. So that is PV is nothing but, that is RT MRT. PV is equal to MRT, that you know that. Okay, so here the unit mass we consider, so that M going to be a 1, simply PV is equal to RT, so that PV is replaced by R, universal gas constant, and the temperature at T at beginning, that is T1, that is replaced. R1 is the compression ratio, that is VB, and V by VA compression ratio, that is considered in a adiabatic process, sorry, isothermal process. Okay, let there is isothermal expansion. R1 is a isothermal expansion. Okay, that is VB, sorry, not compression ratio. You forget about this. That is not a compression ratio. That is equal to the expansion ratio. So in a isothermal process, so that is very important. So we in future we are going to use the R is a compression ratio, but it is a R1. But in the present cycle, we took it is an isothermal expansion ratio, that is VB by VA. Similarly, the heat rejected takes place here, that is C to D, that will be taken as the pressure and volume, the same work done equation, that is PV is equal to log of the volume ratio, that is another PV is further per unit mass we can replace by RT2 log E. So where R2 is the isothermal compression ratios. As above stated, okay, the network is nothing but the difference between heat supplied and heat rejected. So heat supplied at a constant temperature process is nothing but RT1 log 1 in the previous slide what we took. Similarly, the heat rejected, that is RT2. Okay, that is the heat rejected that we consider here. Here R is the common term, we can take out. So the remaining term will be T1 log R1, T2 log R2 per kg of air. So we put it, you call it as equation number 1.4. Okay, so using temperature and volume relation, you know that in any isotropic process or adiabatic process, I hope you remember adiabatic process, or polytropic process, you say in the previous semester, adiabatic process. Okay, adiabatic process. So that is equal to PV to the power of gamma, PV to the power of gamma is equal to constant. That is very familiar equation. That will be, the process will be in mathematically put it in the form PV to the power of gamma is equal to constant. By this we come to this, that is T2, that is higher temperature. Okay, so you know that. So by this equation, PV1 gamma minus 1, sorry, gamma is equal to P2 V2 gamma. Similarly, you replace by P in terms of T, so that T higher T2 by T1, that is V1 by V2. Here V2, that is the compression equation. So same way V1 and V2 is the what you call compression ratio, that is RA taken. Okay, in any adiabatic process, I mean isentropic process, the simply higher temperature divided by lower temperature is equal to the power of compression ratio in terms of gamma minus 1. So that here when it came to, there is a isothermal process, okay, again there is a isentropic process, that is one, that is A, what you taken, that is C. B2C is a PV to the power of gamma process, that is adiabatic process, that we taken the TB nothing but the beginning temperature divided by TC, okay, end temperature, that is equal to the compression ratio, means the maximum volume divided by minimum volume at the cycle to the power of gamma minus 1. Throughout the subject we can use adiabatic process, so that is higher temperature divided by lower temperature to the power of or compression ratio to the gamma minus 1. So again we came to TA is equal to TB. I mean it is a constant temperature. 1 to 2 is A to B is a constant temperature. I mean isothermal process A to B. That all together we can say the T1. You give the number. Similarly, in the final temperature, the second isothermal process C to D. The temperature at C state C and D is common. It will be represented by a two, only two temperature we can say. So T1 by T2 is equal to Vc by V2 gamma minus 1. There is another equation that you know that. So instead of T, what you call TA or TB is nothing but T1. TB or TC or TD is equal to T2. So that the T1, the maximum temperature of the cycle divided by minimum temperature, that is equal to the compression ratio to the power of gamma minus 1. Similarly, for adiabatic compression process, the fourth process D2A, we can say TA divided by TD, VD by VA, same compression ratio to the power of gamma minus 1. It is applicable for all adiabatic process. Adiabatic process we can use. Okay, similarly TA is equal to T1, T2 is equal to TD. So by these two relation, ultimately this equation, that is 1 and 2, by 1 and 2, that is Vc by Vd, this one, this Vc by Vd is equal to Vd by Vd, because they both are equal to the compression ratio, that is temperature ratio, that is T1 by T2. Okay, so that it is further simplified as Vc by Vd is equal to Vb by Va. You just cross multiply Vc by Vd is equal to Vb by Va, so that the compression ratio R1 and I mean during a compression ratio is equal to expansion ratio in a adiabatic process. So by this we can say, that is take log 1 R1 is common, because compression ratio during expansion and compression is same, so that that is further simplification, we take it as R T1 minus T log E of ln of R1, I mean the compression ratio. So the efficiency is nothing but net work divided by heat supplied. You know that the net work or heat available, that is R into T1 minus T2 log of R1. Similarly, the heat supplied is equal to compression ratio into PV. So by this equation, we can R get cancels. Okay, so log E R1 get cancelled. The remaining term will be T1 minus T2. That will be further simplification. That is T1 get cancelled. It becomes 1. That minus T2 by T1. This is the standard equation, thermal efficiency equation for Carnot cycle. So that the efficiency of the cycle depend on the source and sink temperature in all the conditions. So simply we can say the efficiency of the Carnot cycle is nothing but 1 minus T2 by T1. A simple problem we can consider to understand to arrive the efficiency of a cycle in a various sink and source temperature. In the particular problem, while undergoing a Carnot cycle undergoing is working cycle, so here the working fluid receives a heat. It may be anything, is not mentioned any kind of substance what we are using in the cycle. Okay, you forget about that. A temperature at the 317 degrees centigrade and reject to the heat at a temperature 20 degrees centigrade. So he is asking to find the thermal efficiency of the cycle by giving two temperature, that is the higher and lower, the sink and source temperature. If the engine working on the cycle absorb the so much, I mean 2100 kilojoule of energy per minute from the hot body, calculate the net work done in kilojoule per second, find the theoretical power of the engine. You take data separately and you convert all the time. You better to convert in terms of Kelvin, because the specific heat and other things all are in terms of Kelvin only, so that it is very useful to bring in terms of Kelvin all the temperature. So T2 is 295 and T1 is 590 degree 590 Kelvin. By using this equation, you know that standard Carnot efficiency equation, that is eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. You know that T2, you know that sink temperature, T1 is the source temperature. By that we can arrive the answer, the percentage of efficiency of Carnot cycle in the present temperature, it is 50%. Similarly, efficiency is equal to work done by heat supplied. Work done per minute you want to calculate, required to calculate. He is saying in each minute, okay, heat is supplied through to the cycle is given, that is 2100. So that if it is the work done, easily we can calculate it. So that will be what you call cross multiply. Cross multiply these two. So we are getting per minute work done per minute, that is equal to 17 kilojoule per second. So that is in minute is there. So that we divided by 60, we can arrive the answer in terms of 0 kilojoule per second. So that a kilojoule per joule per second is nothing but a watt. Okay. So by this information, we came to know the theoretical power of the engine is 70. The net work we are getting per second, I mean it's simply a net work done, or the power is equal to 17.5 kilowatt during these two temperature, source and sink temperature. I will stop here. I will continue the remaining things in the next session.